it's important to be capable of being serious while also not taking yourself too seriously. And I think there's a certain refreshing joy that comes from making fun of people that take themselves too seriously. Philomena Cunk is a online personality which has been going around the internet for quite some time now. I think possibly that she was related in some way to the BBC. Not super sure. Anyway, she is a comedian personality that just kind of has these off-the-cuff interviews with serious people talking about serious topics, but then she approaches them in this really silly, oversimplified way and just kind of makes herself look stupid and makes other people kind of maybe look stupid too because of the way she presents herself. Just kind of approaching serious topics from a really unserious and not very well informed kind of a perspective. It just creates this weird contrast, which is hilarious to watch. But then I also think that it kind of resonates because in many times we might experience things that feel like an exercise in futility, especially like say in the corporate world or something like that. Like you're going about your business and everyone acts like everything is super serious and they're experts in their field of whatever it is. But then it feels like a lot of it's just sort of nonsense too, you know? So I think sometimes it's just fun to take the things that elevate themselves and lower them to the level of, I guess, frivolity, just because it's hard to constantly live in an environment where everything is in some way serious, where everybody has to be taken seriously, where every issue has to be elevated to the level of being some kind of a existential crisis. Sometimes life just needs to be taken at face value, you know. I think we make a big deal out of far too many things. Like everything becomes something that's going to be something that has to be done something about. Everything has to be weighed in on. Everything is a crisis of some kind. And I guess maybe we descend into a sort of absurdism because we just get tired of all of the oversaturation of society with the sense that everything is important. Everything's important, so nothing is really important. Like in the game space, you have always a video being made about the state of some game or how some particular design decision is a crisis and the community is enraged and all of that kind of stuff. And then if you take a few steps back and you really just look at it honestly, you have to say, isn't this ridiculous? I mean, like, why are you making a big deal out of the state of a video game? I mean, aren't you just playing it to have fun? It's not like a bad game is gonna give you a bad life, but you wouldn't know it if you were looking at the people raging about what's wrong with some particular game or something like that. Or maybe it's in the political sphere. People are, you know, these days raging about the Epstein files or whatever they are. I don't even know exactly what the deal is there. I guess it was a slimy politician was doing weird sexual things on an island or something, and now everyone's obsessed with it, and it's all anyone talks about this particular time because people want to be in on the scoop of that, I guess. I don't know. Like, why do I even care? Like, I don't know. Not super sure why I care. I mean, is it really a surprise that politicians are slimy? Like, I guess it was a big thing and all the Trump people wanted to find out about this Epstein situation. They really were into it. and Donald Trump was really into it, and then I guess it turns out he was one of the people that was being a slimy politician with Mr. Epstein or something of that nature, probably. So then he wasn't into it anymore, and he didn't want to talk about it because it wouldn't maybe make him look very good or something of that nature. And so then everyone is mad about that, and kind of comes down to that question of why do we focus on that kind of stuff? Why do we even care? Like, why does it matter what kind of a boat a celebrity is riding around on, or what sort of thing is going on in terms of the public life of a politician or such? I mean, do we really need to make a big deal out of it? Does it really matter what side we take in any of that? I don't know. I don't think so. And then you have all the people who just, they're working their professional lives. They're doing all sorts of different things, and everything is so important, like you'd think everybody's so important when you talk to them. Like they just all have their little things they're doing, and they think that you're a complete idiot if you don't validate their importance. And it's almost like toddlers, really, like they go to the bathroom and then they stand there and they're like, give me a sticker because I went potty and I didn't go to the bathroom on the floor like I normally would, or I didn't go in my diaper, so where is my sticker? I need my sticker because I need to be validated and recognized for my excellence because I know how to go to the bathroom and the toilet. Like that's kind of the attitude that people have these days. Everything people do, they're sort of trying to do it and then real quick make sure that other people see what they've done so that they can get some kind of credit for it. Or maybe they want to weigh in to, make other people feel marginalized, because if you can put other people down a little bit so that you can look better relative to them, then that's interesting too, and people like to do that. But it just comes down to life is not really actually all that serious. Like you could probably skip a lot of the things that you think you need to spend your life paying attention to. You don't need to watch the stock market all day, every day. You don't need to make a big deal out of every single thing that somebody says is a big deal. You don't have to spend all of your life consuming all of this sort of brain rot that people create and then share and convince other people is important or culturally relevant or something. It's completely fine to just hang out and live a simple life and don't make a big deal out of all of the noise. And when people say, hey, give me attention, and here's something that's important you should pay attention to, I'm not saying we should be completely ignorant, that we should not be interested in intellectual pursuits at all, or we should just say, well, none of it matters. I don't need to be informed in any way whatsoever. I'm not saying that. But I am saying that a lot of the things that people want attention about, you really could probably just not do it and you'd be totally fine. And when you take away a lot of that noise, then you can focus on things that maybe do matter a bit more, like focusing on your own personal life instead of all of the things that flood the news cycle. I do think it's interesting, though, how it's refreshing to see anyone take a sort of a simple-minded approach to life, because it's kind of like children, how they say the obvious part first and out loud. And it's not that you want to be ignorant like a child, but you also can look at children and be envious of them. I saw this video of a little girl, and she got an envelope, and in the envelope there's $100 bill, and somebody was videoing her, and they say, hey, what you got there inside the envelope? And she opens it up and she pulls out the $100 bill, and she's like, nothing. And she throws the money on the ground, because to her, $100 bill is just a piece of paper. Like, that doesn't mean anything. Like, why would she care about a $100 bill? And then there's all the people that always want to say, well, hey, look at the new house I'm building, or look at the new job I got, or look at how much money I have in my bank account, or check out the thing I'm investing in, or whatever it might be. Always something to make themselves feel important. And that's the stuff we really want to let go of, I think. To just be a little more like children, to say, does this bring joy into my life? Is this something that's a thing I need to know? And all of those sorts of things. And in a world where everyone's busy trying to engineer the future, maybe just be the kid trying to make your way to the playground. Like, is it really that big of a deal? Any of the stuff people are restlessly pursuing? Maybe not. Maybe it's better just to keep it simple and don't act like everything in the world is somehow of grand importance, because a lot of it really is just a lot of people doing silly things and trying to validate them, like the emperor wearing no clothes at all and dramatically convinced that he's wearing clothes that are better than anyone else's because he's just a bit deluded in the head and he doesn't know it. That's how it is. Everyone thinks that they're doing good and really they're kind of doing nothing. You know, it's like friends, they say, hey, you want to go hang out at the bar? And, you know, if you say, no, I really don't want to go hang out at the bar with you and watch you while you get a little bit more drunk with each passing hour. I'd rather just not and say we did, to be honest. And they would say, well, you know, how dare you not be part of this, because, you know, that's what it means to have a social life or something. And, you know, I can't help but think like, well, you know, maybe I'd rather just be a loser then, because I can't think of any particular reason why I would need to spend my time in that particular way, doing something that's ultimately going to cost money and cost me my time and not add any value to my life intellectually or personally or otherwise. You know, like just looking at life and having this simple, honest approach to say, does this add value to my life? Do I get something out of this? Do I really care about this? Or am I just being sucked into other people who have this attitude that, you know, I'm supposed to care about all of these things, and so therefore, because I want to fit in, I guess I'll just play the game and use the lingo and say all the stuff that I'm supposed to say and do all the stuff I'm supposed to do. When we're honest with ourselves and we keep things simple, then suddenly a lot of things in life just don't really need to be part of our life, and a lot of things that people say is important, we can just kind of maybe make fun of a bit and say, you know what, now you do whatever it is you think it is that makes you important, and I'm gonna just go ahead and leave you there to do that, and I'm gonna go do what I actually value in my life. That's it, really. Life should be lived so that you can do things which you value, not so that you can be an extension of something that other people have made up in their fictional ecosystem of values. As always, do things which seem lovely. Do things which bring joy into your life. And if you do that, even if it might mean you have a bit smaller circle of people in your life, or you live a simpler life with a bit fewer pursuits, chances are you won't regret it, and it'll do you no harm, because a life lived simply is not a failure at all. As always, good luck on your adventure. Till next time, thanks so much for watching.